And we are live again for another episode of Girls and Graps. Welcome back. We did miss last week due to both Anna and myself not being able to make it. But this week we are starting International Women's Month with a bang. And we do have a guest with us today. We are joined by the lovely Amira Blair. And we're going to be talking about her coming back to Rev Pro and wrestling there for the first couple of times in like 3 years now, I think it was that you said it had been. How it's been managing Michael Oku across the country and the world last year, and what her goals are for herself this year in wrestling. But before we get there, please do like, subscribe, send your super chats if you're feeling generous. And yeah, let's get into it. Amira, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. I am absolutely delighted to be here. So, first of all, thank you so much to the both of you for inviting me for International Women's Month. I am a woman, so I'd love to be a part of this. And I really, really appreciate and love what you guys do. So I also could not wait when you asked me. There's going to be a lot of time in the future where I'm not going to be able to do any podcast for a long time. So I just wanted to jump on as quickly as possible. I really appreciate that you guys worked with me yesterday when I had my little emergency, and that we're doing this so quickly after talking about it. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming on so quickly. When I messaged you, I was just like, we have like a couple of slots this month. You were just like, this week. I was like, oh, okay, we will do this week. That works perfect.
48 hours, please. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Got it moving quick. But Anna, how have you been as well? It's been a couple of weeks since we podcasted.
Yes, I'm alive. Yes, guys, if you watch Worldwide, you see how much I was dying. But, I heard that Amira was coming, so I had to lock in. I had to, just sickness be gone, out of my body. And I'm here. I'm fine. I'm alive. And I'm so excited to talk about it because I'm not super into British, of course. I'm not British. I only been to one Rev Pro show. So I'm very interested in knowing more about it and hearing more about it and just having this conversation. And thank you for joining us, Amira, our first official guest. I don't know. Do we call it Girls on Guests or Guests on Graps?
Girls on Guests?
Which one?
Oh,
Girls on Guests.
I think it's
Guests on Graps.
Guests on Graps, yeah. I think that
sounds
works. We should
weird.
Yeah, slightly less questionable, but I'm sure we talk about some interesting things on here. So, did you see the clips of Temptation Islands that were going around?
Montoya.
Yeah.
Montoya, por favor.
Montoya, por favor.
The aquatic head.
Yes, yeah, we've had some extensive conversations about some of the clips that hit. Yeah, our live chat's very aware of some of the things that happened discussing that. But yeah, I'm sure the conversation will derail. But this is a podcast. We do have a guest. Would you like to tell the people a little bit about yourself for anyone that's not familiar with you and your work?
Sure. Hello, guys. I am Amira Blair. I am 21 years old plus 7. Oh, that's scary. And I am a wrestler originally from Ireland, living in the UK. But I am probably best known for managing the Michael Oku through Rev Pro and throughout wrestling in general right now. So, yeah, that is kind of what I'm best known for. But this year is the new year of Amira and is the year where I am taking a stand in wrestling for Rev Pro, because I've been wrestling now for about 3 years. But everywhere else bar Rev Pro, and I was exclusively managing at Rev Pro. And then this year, a trail of events led to me now wrestling. Not if it I planned, not if it anyone planned, but here we are.
Here we are, yeah. I was the week, so for a little bit of context, you stepped up. It was very last minute at a Rev Pro show.
Incredible.
And it was against Alex Windsor, right?
It was indeed against Alex Windsor.
Yes. So you stepped up and you had that match with Alex Windsor in Rev Pro at live in Sheffield? Southampton, yep. Yeah. I always get the S's confused. But it was live in Southampton and it was an emotional one for you. I saw the clips of you before the match and after the match, and just what was it like being the one that was able to step into the ring with Alex Windsor as the replacement at that show?
Well, I think we have to go into the story of my time in RevPro. Otherwise, none of that would make sense of why someone is crying so extensively for wrestling. So for it's a story that I think a lot of the people at the back know, but not a lot of people in the front. So you'll be the first to hear this story. Basically, when I first moved to the UK, I'd only been training for about a year in Ireland, and I hadn't had any real match experience. Probably one or two matches in front of a crowd, but nothing like Brit Rest. And I moved to the UK. I had some promo pictures and a dream, and I decided, like in 2021, I'm just going to give wrestling a go. And because I'm a very talkative and like confident person, I think people thought I had a lot of experience. I told them the truth. I told them all my level of experience, but I think people just believe that I could do it because I made it believe, like because I'm such a confident talker. I think people believe I could do it. So I had one match that went well, and then another last minute replacement for Rev Pro Queen of the Ring. Maria De La Rosa wasn't able to make it on the show that day, and I just happened to be there to watch. This is my 5th day living in the UK, and someone needed to go against Zoe Lucas, and they were like, "Hey, you look Spanish," and I was like, "Half," but I could do it. I could do the role. And for context as well, I have an acting background and a stunt woman background, so like that to me, it was another. I didn't really know wrestling properly then, and to me, it was another acting job. And I was like, oh, they need someone to just take a couple of bumps and look distressed in a squash match.
Yeah.
I could do that. So I shoved on some wrestling gear, and I had my match with Zoe Lucas at Rev Pro. And that, my darling, is my 2nd match ever that anyone can witness. Shouldn't have been there. Definitely fluked it. But for some reason, everyone thought, oh, she did okay for a newbie. And I was like, God, I'm unreal at wrestling. I'm awesome. Like, I hardly know what's going on.
It.
And I've done great. Nice one.
Yeah.
So I thought I was the queen of wrestling, to be honest with you. I'll just be completely honest. And then my 6th match came. So I had some matches in between. And then I started to realize, maybe I don't know what's going on. Maybe this is not a stunt job. Maybe this is not an acting job. I was still trying to figure it out because, once again, in my first 2 weeks in the country, I've had a match at Rev Pro, some matches on a Friday and a Saturday, and then the Sunday comes round, and now I'm in the 229, and this is my 6th ever match.
Yes.
That was the moment, which unfortunately is online, and I ask Andy to take it down all the time, but he likes to remind me of where I came from. And you know what? Now that I've grown and I have learned so much about the industry, and I have grown so much as a person, you can now watch Amira Blair versus Debbie Keitel, and it is probably one of the saddest, hardest watches anyone can have. Because that was the moment I realized, oh, maybe I'm not that good at wrestling. Maybe it's not an acting job. Maybe it's not a stunt job. And I was very, very humbled in front of a whole lot of people that I was a very new girl, and I got a lot of stack of it online. I didn't realize how big Rev Pro was because, once again, my background was acting. So I didn't realize like what the big promotions are. I thought we're all just having fun here. I didn't realize how big it was. But I get backstage, I'm like, that I don't know what happened, but that was not very fun. And that wasn't very good. I can tell something went wrong here. And Andy says, like, how long have you been training for? I was like, oh, not very long. And he was like, and he was like, okay, so let's go back to training, When you're ready, because you're a nice person, I'll give you another chance. And I went, sure, no problem. So a year later, I think I'm ready. So I asked Andy Q, Andy, I'm ready now. And he was like, oh, no, you're not. And I was like, oh.
Oh, dear.
And I was like,
oh wow.
Oh, wait. I thought I was ready. But so I was like, fine, it's okay, don't worry about it. And he goes, just keep working behind the scenes, still learn about everything, still keep going to training as much as I was, and we'll see what happens there. Another year passes by, and I ask every single week, and I all this time have always brought my gear. Like a little secret was basically for 4 years I had my gear in every single show, every single time, just in case the moment came, which is important for the story later on. Another year goes by and he says, no, but I do have something for you because I think it's the next stage of your progression that you need to do. I want you to manage Michael Oku. And I was like,
yes.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to manage my boyfriend. That is so stupid, Andy. I'm just going to sit at merch and go to training. Then a series of events, aka the Will Ospreay versus Michael Oku match happened that ended up meaning by force. It was Andy's plan the whole time. He'll tell you, like, he planned this the whole time. But I ended up having to manage Michael Oku, and it became one of the biggest blessings ever, which we'll probably talk about later on. And then the third year has gone by, and I am full-time comedy wrestler, baby. I am loving my life. I have given up on my dream of Rev Pro. I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I started having the time of my life in wrestling. I felt confident. I was in a niche that felt very good to me. If you watch any of my matches, you see me laughing all the bloody time. I'm having the time of my life every single time. And I made peace with maybe Rev Pro's not for me. And when fans would ask me, would you ever wrestle for Rev Pro? I'm like, come on, guys. We all know it's been over 3 years now. It's not going to happen. Even the people at the back, it was like an ongoing joke being like, you'll do everything in Rev Pro but wrestle. And it was true. And I was very at peace with it. And then on a random, some people may know that I was meant to be going on the Jericho cruise. And my ESTA fell through. My visa wasn't approved on time, so I was like, great, that's totally fine. I'm okay with that trauma. That was my time to wrestle. That was my time to do it in front of people. I'm so depressed and sad, and for 4 days I went into the biggest, saddest depression ever. Danced to a lot of Cody Simpson. Was in my feels, man. And then on that weekend we had I'd just been speaking to people at the back, and Andy had decided, I want you to do a promo for Michael. And I was like, okay, I'll do this for Michael. And in the promo, which was with Ricky Knight, who I love very much. I'm sugar, I'm not going to say that. Freak you, Nikki, Ricky.
You can swear at this point. It's okay. We're past the 5 minutes.
It's okay. Fuck you, Ricky Knight. I meant all of that. Cut out the bit where I said he's a nice person. Shit, I'm in trouble. This is like that reason I can hear them in there. Oh, right. So, in this promo, Ricky said something like, "You don't belong in this ring. You don't wrestle here." And he said a lot of other stuff, and it got a lot of people upset. And
it did.
It did at the time. I know Ricky from, obviously, and I know what he meant. And little did I know at the time, it was all preparing for the following week. It didn't mean to, but from what I was told, I was always being introduced. Like, it was starting to be introduced that I would wrestle, but I didn't know that. What did I know?
No.
It's going to be a nice surprise for me. And it was meant to be that 229. But a series of circumstances happened where, God love her, I love you so much if you're watching this, Chantel. Chantel Jordan ended up getting really, really sick, and we were at Southampton. I had done the Portsmouth Contender show before, announcing for all our little trainees, and I just so happened to bring my gear in case, you know, something happened. But it had been sitting there. It was my brand new pink gear, and I was like, I'll save it for a rainy day whenever it comes out. I just have it in the car. Then Southampton happens. There's no replacement. There is literally no one. And I was like, God, we might not have a women's match on Southampton. This is bad news. What terrible luck. Oh, like, everyone's gonna be so upset. There's no one to go against Alex Windsor. Like, I had counted myself out fully at this point that I am never gonna wrestle for.
Yeah.
So I just didn't even think it was gonna happen. And then Auntie just went, oh, have you got your gear? And I was like,
just like that.
I was like, what? K-tell? The Pritel? What? So are you? And I actually went, are you sure? Are you okay? Are you sure? Because, you know, we can figure it out. And he's like, just be ready. I hope you're ready. You told me you were ready a year ago. It's 2 years ago. And I know you're a great comedy wrestler. Can you just be serious? And I didn't even think I could. I couldn't even promise. I was like, can't promise anything. I'll try, but I can't. So in like a couple of this dream I had for like 3 years has now just suddenly come true in an hour.
Yeah.
I got an hour to figure it all out. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So stressed. Most stressful hour of my life. Figured it out. And then it just happened. And then all I remember is like the moment of going for the curtain, and I did it. I did the match. I did everything. And I came to back, and then I realized, like, oh my God, I've just wrestled for RevPro as the woman I am today.
Just did it.
And I just sobbed. It was like, you would have thought I walked through WrestleMania. I'm so sorry. Someone is, Michael is texting me abuse. So, sorry.
It's okay.
There you go.
During International Women's Month, that's crazy.
What were you saying, sorry?
It's during International Women's Month is crazy.
During
I can't believe him.
Month, Michael. You're being rude to me. So, I came through the curtain. I just cried. You would have thought I wrestled for WrestleMania the way I was getting on. But everyone in the back was like, it was like the best day of our lives. We'd all done it. And it was incredible. And I am very, very, and on all serious note, I am so grateful that it was a 3-year wait, because I think I'm finally ready now. I thought all the times I was ready before. I was ready, but I wasn't really ready for who I am right now and how I wrestle right now. I feel is very true to be, and very just the way it was meant. It was just the way it was meant to be, and the way it panned out was meant to be. And I'm just very, very grateful for it. For anyone that doesn't know, RevPro is my whole entire life. I love it. It's my favorite place. So grateful for everything it's given me, and that journey was really important for me to go on. But also for any women that are training and learning, please, please, please don't rush. Please take your time. It's gonna pan out. Don't do what I did. Just wait, and it'll all work out well. Because I think that was something I wanted to get across in a podcast. Because I know a lot of girls want to go into wrestling, and very, very quickly, because there's very little of us, we're pushed in early on to do stuff. Hold off, wait till you're ready. Because it took me 3 years to be ready. Yeah. And now I'm ready, and all the opportunities are coming, and I'm very grateful, and I'm ready for them.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's the story of my RevPro journey.
It's honestly wonderful to hear you talk so candid about it, and I think it's admirable that you can acknowledge that. Yes, you felt ready the times before, but now that it's come around, you know that this was the right time now. And I remember you putting on Instagram, there was some voice notes about the Visa and Esther situations. And I remember you saying, well, everything happens for a reason. I'm sure this is all going to lead to something and things will pan out the way they're meant to. And now here we are, literally a week later, things fell into place for you in RevPro again.
No, I'm not saying if anyone's religious here, like, or not religious, you don't have to be. I'm not forcing my religion on anybody. I hope that doesn't sound like I am.
Good. Yeah.
But I am a believer in God, and I truly believe the Lord worked for me in that moment. Like, everything happened for a reason, because the most amazing things have occurred since that. The sadness of not making it on the Jericho cruise.
Yes.
Like, so many wonderful things happened after the fact that it just shocks me every day. Like, and I do believe it was a blessing. Like, I learned this hard lesson of what, like, sadness was of missing a trip to Miami and the Dominican Republic. But whatever. It was a hard lesson to learn, let's just say. When you're as pale as I am right now, it was a very hard lesson to learn. But I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And I originally went on the Jericho cruise to prove that I could wrestle, or to prove to Andy, I guess, that I could wrestle. And I ended up getting my wish. Anyway, didn't get to go to the Dominican Republic and swim with dolphins like Michael Oku.
Yeah, I'm genuinely so happy that things worked out for you the way that they did.
I appreciate it. And I do appreciate a lot of, like, I have a lot of female fans. Like, I would have more female fans than male fans. And I'm so great because I felt like when I came through the curtain on 229, like, every girl was with me. I felt every girl in just, like, you're all in the broadcast group. You're all hearing my voice notes of, like, stress, and you're all, like, coming with me on the journey. That's kind of how I felt. So, like, I appreciate that so many people felt the emotion that I felt of coming through the curtain line. So
that's such a great story. Like, but for me, it's so interesting that when you started with RevPro, you really didn't, like, know that much about wrestling. So, like, before that, what was your connection with wrestling? Like, what made you even think about going that direction at all?
So, I'm so sorry, because this is where I break everyone's heart. I would love to tell everybody, oh, I was an indie god, and, like, I loved all the indies, and I loved all these intricate promotions. No. I used to watch in my Catholic home in Ireland. I used to sneak on. I used to come downstairs and put on Sky, and I go and watch the divas, and I wanted to be a diva. I wanted to be Maria Kanellis. I know that's wild.
Real.
That's so real.
I've done it. I've met her. I wanted to come out to life like that. I used to push through the door. My wee brother would do he'd do, like, Randy Orton, Edge, Dolph Ziggler. Like, we pushed through our front our door, and we just we just do the entrances. That was, like, what we wanted to do, and I wanted to be Maria. And I see Maria, and I was like, oh, when I grow up, I'm gonna have a feather bra. I'm gonna have the most gorgeous red, sexy bottoms, and I'm gonna wrestle. That's what I'm gonna do. And then I kind of grew up. Not that I grew up. I guess I fell out of it. Got into the real world. Did my degree. I did acting. I did music videos. I did stunts. I did fire dancing. You name it, I've done it. I did everything, nothing was making me happy. And then at 22, I was working as a makeup artist for Mac, and I was doing a drag queen's makeup, and they were talking about how much they love wrestling, and I was like, oh my god, I do love wrestling. Like, I wonder if there's any schools in the area. And then I kind of let that dream die, and then suddenly, you may know this character in this story, down the stairs of the House of Fraser comes Myla Grace strutting by. I don't know Myla Grace at the time. And everyone was like, a girl comes up and talks to me. He's like, you know what she does? She's a wrestler. And I was like, listen, I just spoke to someone about that recently, about how I want to be a wrestler. I want to find out how she's wrestling. And Myla will tell you, the very first thing I ever said to her about 5 years ago now, I think it's longer, 6 years, is, listen, how do I become you and be a wrestler? And that night we went to training and we've never looked back. Like
That's so wonderful.
It's such a good, incredible story. Like I owe so much of my journey to Mila, because if I never met Mila, none of this would have happened. Like my life would be a completely different story. So I owe her everything. Because she got me into the business, I always say. But I always had a love for wrestling before that. I just rediscovered it through Mila.
Yeah, that's so great. Like literally everything in your story is just things happening for a reason, or just like
right place, right time.
My life is finding things at the right time, but I never think it's the right time. So I think the world is against me until it's not. But it's the power of God. I truly believe it's the power of God.
Yeah, and also like with the age, I feel like a lot of people, they think like, oh my God, I'm 22, I'm 23, like I can start training now. Like, you know, like there's people you see like with 17, you look at Japan, like a 13, 14-year-old doing those things, and like, I'm too old now, you know, like I can't do this. But like literally at any time you can just go up and start doing that if you want to. So
that was it for me. Like I did think it was just going to be a hobby. I never thought it'd be for training. I thought it'd be good for some of my acting stuff. Like I thought I'd get into like, maybe I get like some roles in some music videos and stuff with some wrestling training or some stunt work. I never thought it would be my career, and now here we are. It's become my whole entire life, and I'm really, really grateful for it. So yes, you're never too late to start, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And yet now that you're like more ready to wrestle, do you have like people that are on your list?
So on my list is Danny Luna as number 1, because she's gonna beat the crap out of me, and I want to make her laugh slightly. I want her to feel the same joy I feel every time I watch her in the ring. I love her. I think she's incredible. She's like my actual favorite. If I didn't know her, I would think, even as a fan, I think she'd be my actual favorite wrestler of all time. I would love to complete the story, and because Zoe Lucas was my second match, so I would love to have another. Not that she's listening or anything, but I would love to have another match with Zoe Lucas. I'm very blessed and grateful that I've wrestled my best friend, but not in this universe, but best friend Alex Winter. I would love to go against Kanji, but she'd beat my ass.
Kanji, that would be a real cool match to see.
Yeah, she beat me up, and I'd laugh, and everyone would yell at me, and that would be the story. I'm Mercedes Monet. I don't know if anyone.
Yes, of course.
But yes, I have a slight super fan of somebody in particular.
Of course, like come on, it's Mercedes. I'm so excited to see her. Like, which show is she going on? Like, when is it?
It's the Doncaster show, Mania weekend, April 20th. I won't be there.
You'll be in Mania, right?
I will be. Yep, I will be in Vegas still.
Well, coming back. I'm not missing that girl for nothing.
Oh, absolutely, as you should. But how excited are you that Mercedes is going to be back in Rev Pro as well?
Back that she'll be attended for the first time, and I'll just get to watch her.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. All I know.
Are you going to offer to manage her? Are you going to?
I have offered online numerous times. That woman thinks who I am. That woman thinks I am an absolute like creep, and that's fine. I think I'm just gonna look at her and just ask her if she needs water, or like if she needs carried around the venue, or if she needs like fanned. I'll do all those things. Whatever.
That's so real.
I will do. I just want to be. I'm so excited she's coming. I'm so excited. Like, how incredible is it that one of the top women in the world at professional wrestling is going to be at a little British Hall? Like, that's going to be incredible. A big York Hall. Sorry, big York Hall, Landy. I've changed that. Big York Hall.
Doncaster Dome. It's the big Doncaster Dome that she's
It's the big Doncaster Dome.
Yes. Yes.
Dome.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Oh, I've got it all wrong. Thank God you're here to correct me.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so I can't. I'm just gonna be so lucky. I just think so lucky this year. That is the highlight of my year. Is coming, and you're all gonna know. Like the moment she sets foot, and I take her to Spoons and take her for some M&S Town.
Oh no!
She needs a good British breakfast this time, please.
I can't give her. I don't think British breakfasts are nice. Irish breakfasts are lovely, but this country has, no offense, awful breakfast.
Honestly, I'm still like Charlie. She took me when we were there for All In. She took me to like the real fry up and everything, which is nice. But for a breakfast, it's so much. It's so much. The beans are still diabolical. Like I'm still not sold on the beans in the morning. That plate as a lunch, fine. Like at 9 a.m. it's too much.
It wasn't quite 9 a.m. It was a little bit later than that. But to be fair, we had been out the night before as well, so it was needed. Oh, yeah. It was the morning after All In, so
it was necessary.
Yeah,
that would be.
It was a good time. Yeah, no, it hit the way it needed to, I thought. But yeah, I want to change the topic a little bit. Last year was a very big year for you and Michael Oku because you travelled a lot and you got to manage him in pretty much every corner of the world. It kind of felt like you went to Mexico, you were in the States, and there was other countries in between as well. Obviously, you did a lot in the UK.
Yeah.
But what was that like as a manager for someone like Michael, getting to travel that much and experience those different crowds from that perspective?
So like I said earlier on, it wasn't me and Michael's decision to be an act together. It was Andy's.
Yeah.
We fought well against it at the time because we were, as much as we love each other, we knew that like I'm a very different wrestler than he was at the time. I was full-blown comedy. He was full-blown being like one of the best in the world. And I knew that if we were pushed together, people would go, they're a couple. They're doing this because they're a couple. I just was worried about a lot of fan speculation as to why I was there, and that would Michael get accused of just bringing his girlfriend to shows? Would it just look like that instead of actually us being a good unit and a pair together? I would say it took about 3 months for us to find our groove with each other, because once again, every Rev Pro show you'd seen from the first one that I managed him to now, we were just figuring it out. We were figuring out the dynamic that was best for us because we worked so well, obviously off camera. It was trying to get our dynamic on camera, and I'm a very feisty person. So like, for example, in my managing, a lot of people actually thought, God, she's actually a bit heelish because she's so angry and animated and emotional.
Not afraid to step up into the other men
I
as
was
well.
ready to step out at all times, because in real life, like, would I let someone hit the love of my life like that? No. That's the way I looked at it. And then after a while, it just became second nature to us. It all kind of started flowing, and we decided to do like portray what our real life is like on screen, which I think I wasn't doing first. And we started acting the way we would in real life. Like I took away the character part of it, and I was like, what way would I act as his partner? And that changed the whole dynamic completely. And I think that's what really solidified us as an act now together. I think obviously the matches with Will are a big highlight to our career, and I think if we didn't have that story of our relationship being in the middle of it, I think it wouldn't have like so much investment the way a lot of people feel about it. And I think when we travel around the world, like, people who don't know us, first of all, see like, oh, it looks like a young couple just coming out trying to make us feel something, and then they always end up going, oh my God, I loved every second of that. That was incredible. Like, I actually felt the emotions that they felt. I do think as well, for any young wrestlers that are watching or anybody getting into the industry, I'd fully recommend doing managing. No matter what you want to do, if you want to be a wrestler, commentator, ref, anything, or if you just want to be a manager like I am, it's incredible. It's an incredible way to learn what the crowd feel, how they feel, to watch and learn and have memory of in what's going on in the ring. And it was the biggest. It was 3 years of teaching. So Andy kind of described it as he made me learn for 3 years, like from the best.
Mm-hmm.
He made me watch how they did that, how they did everything for 3 years, and it took me a while to figure that out. But I'm very, very grateful for it. Yeah. And I think it made me 20 million times a better wrestler, because I hear the crowd, I think, better than most people.
Yes.
So I'm very, very grateful for it. I'm still going to be managing. I'm going to be doing it all. So Rev Pro and in outside, I'm still doing exactly the same, where I'm doing wrestling and managing. Because the other day at the 229, I actually had a couple of fans come up and say, "Oh, so you've quit managing now?" I was like, "Oh, no, you don't get
doing
to
everything.
I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna be it
As
all."
she should.
And yeah, it's just gonna be something like, there's gonna be some days you'll see me wrestle, some days you'll see me manage, and we'll just see where it goes. It's here.
Maybe both on one show. Like, you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. I might ref. I've done reffing. I've done comms very poorly. Not great at comms. Don't ask me to do comms. They ask me to do comms sometimes, and I just feel like I let everyone down. I don't know all the names of moves. I'm just here for a good time.
Honestly, I mean, that's so hard.
Color commentary. Yeah, it's something that every commentary team needs as well. So
I could never. Like, I have a question, because like, every time that I think about if I would love to work with wrestling, I would love it. I would not be a wrestler. I'm not a physical person like that. I barely go to the gym. I do not exercise. But I would love to be a manager. I would absolutely love to be a manager. And I want to like ask you, as a manager, what do you think are the things that are like most important in good managers? Like, where do you get inspiration from? Like, how do you do that part?
I think so I get a lot of my managing experience from my acting, so stuff I did before. But the one things I would tell people who want to just manage is, unfortunately, you're not going to like this, but to do a wrestling training session. Yeah. That is the first thing I tell people. I know. Listen, to do one, to figure out what it is, to figure out what the art is you're managing. And if you don't want to do that, have a study Romeo and Juliet, and imagine Juliet is managing Romeo. That's the way I would tell people. I know it's hard to explain, and I do explain it better in like one of my seminars and stuff that I do.
Yeah.
But the first thing I'll always tell people for free is to roll around and take a bump, and experience. Once you take your first bump, you'll experience pain, and that's what we put our bodies through. And you need to tell the story of how that person's pain could lead to a victory.
Yeah.
Like that is one of the, it's an art form. It's a real,
it is
lost art form.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just think it's just you have to go there and then you just grab a mic and you say whatever, and then that's I feel like we've seen an epidemic of very bad managers lately, and like the really, really good managers, like your personal opinion on him as a person, like Paul Heyman is like a great manager. I'm just saying, like, those kind of managers, it feels like few and far between. Like Prince Nana, I think, is great. So I just feel like it's getting lost. So we need to.
It is a lost art in wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of I will go back to your first point that a lot of people think it's standing around a ring and going, "Come on, guys," or "I'm going to do something mean." And the people who say those things and then go and do them don't exactly end up doing too well from it, because a bad manager can ruin a whole match.
Yes.
Ruin a whole thing. It is an art form. You got to learn how to present the talent as the top talent. You're not the star. You're a second. Your job is to make sure the person in the ring is the star, which is incredibly hard to do. Without taking too much away from yourself. So when I first started, I found it very difficult to find that balance, but it takes time. It takes time for any managing duo. It takes maybe about, I would say, a couple of months to really find your groove with anybody. And Yeah, it took me a while, but I figured it out, and now I know the art is making sure that that person is the person in the ring is the main talent. And sometimes, as a manager, some people don't like that and think they need to be the star of the show, or they need to be the mouthpiece. And it doesn't quite work like that.
No.
You got to be prepared to be in the backseat. And Paul Heyman, for example, is the best at it. We know Paul Heyman for years, but we know him for managing Roman Reigns or CM Punk, and we know them to be the big stars. And it's because of Paul they really elevated themselves. Oh my god, the dog!
He's on the move. It's okay. Yeah, my brother's just walked through with food, so Oscar's just like he's going to see what he's got now.
See you later. Done with food. Dog. Don't want to talk about girls. I went to
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Like, a good manager can make a whole match, and a bad manager can just ruin the whole thing. Like, a whole storyline can just be ruined for a bad manager, you know? Like, it is such a skill, and I admire you so much. Like, anyone can actually do it and do it well, and that elevates the match, because I generally believe, like, the Will Ospreay Michael Cole matches would not have been the same if you weren't there. You know, like, it really added so much, to the story, you know? Like, you felt the weight, even though, like, I don't follow Rev Pro, but those matches I watched them, and just you being there, like, it just added so much. So it's, great work. Great work.
Yeah, it's I've watched you and Michael Oku perform in a few different companies, a lot of different venues, and it's honestly kind of crazy to me how well you understand how to connect with the crowds, because it feels like whether it's a crowd of like 300 people or 3,000, you're able to connect the same way with them and get people engaged and have the fans reacting to the match. And they're not reacting to you, they're reacting to the match because of what you're adding to that. And I think that is a skill that either takes people a long time to learn, or they just don't have it in them. So it is very admirable getting to watch you do the work that you do.
Thank you very much. It just took me a very long time to figure that out. Yeah. So I went through actually a stage where a lot of people did not like me. Did not like me at all in Rev Pro. But this is when I felt like I had to act a certain way. Like, I felt like, oh, maybe they wouldn't like me as a person, so I'm gonna act this certain way that I think managers need to act. And then that was only when we decided to just drop the act and just be ourselves, just be completely ourselves. And if they like us as people, they like us as people. They don't, because I'm a very, like, what you see is what you get with me. And I just started just fully dropping character stuff and just being myself fully, only with a different name. Don't tell anyone. But yeah, and I feel like that's worked best, and I think that's why I feel like I can make a connection with the crowd now, because I'm just being myself. You don't like it. If you don't like myself, then that's okay. But I think that really helps. More.
You can definitely feel the authenticity, especially when you're in the building at these shows. It is genuinely wonderful seeing those crowds become so engaged. And especially now, you spoke about being a comedy wrestler and that being the lane that you've carved out for yourself. I know that you do need to leave in a little bit. I did want to talk about Riot Cabaret a little bit, though, because over the summer last year, you had a over 2 hour long match with Cassius. And I think this is worth talking about in front of an audience that may not be aware of it. Because genuinely, it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in wrestling. It was unreal, the work that you two put into that.
2 hours?
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a story.
I'm all ears. I want to know all about it.
So, I just want to be clear. At one point or no point at all did we think this would become one of the longest matches of 2024. That was not the goal. We are just me and Cassius are just two kids with a dream, and we just wanted to have a laugh. And we thought, what do we want to do? Like, we just wanted to work with each other. We're holding hands. We're like, what do we want to do? And we're like, do you want to do a Falls Count Anywhere match? And we're like, bitch, that'll be so funny, and we'll just do it around the venue. And then the amazing people at Riot Cabaret were like, why don't we go somewhere? And I was like, yeah. Where? I was like, let's go to the skate park. It's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's bring Simon Miller. Yeah. And then we just started adding on, and then we were like, do you want to go to Speedboat? Because we were walking past the Speedboat thing. We're like, Speedboat, bitch. And he was like, bitch, let's go to Speedboat. And then we suddenly they're very nice. The people at the London party boat thing. Shout out to you guys. We are sorry. We did not make it clear what we were doing. You must have been so shocked and disturbed. The police came. I don't know if you heard the police.
No, I didn't know that.
No, I thought I talked about this. The police had tried to stop us like twice that day.
Oh my god!
Because they thought we were actually fighting on a boat, and then they see a beautiful gay man in a gorgeous outfit, and me in my wrestling gear, like hello, with Simon Miller in a ref shirt at a boat. And we're like, hi.
How on earth did you explain that?
We just said we were wrestlers with a dream, and we just want to be on a boat, and we did it like that, and we got away. We got away with it. We didn't get arrested, so we were like sick. Yeah. And then we thought, oh, do you know what? It'll just be nice filler in between on Riot Cabaret. We'll have stuff of us fighting on a train. We'll do all these little things, and we'll just have a laugh. And then everyone ended up really liking it. We were like, oh my god, really? Sick. Thanks. But we didn't. Good. We did not think. We thought everyone would just enjoy it in between breaks. Yeah. We didn't think it was going to be this 2-hour long. It was not the plan to have like a Brit Rest match of 2024, but there we are. We did. But we had so much fun. Anything me and Cassius do together, I know a lot of people know that me and Cassius have done loads of work together. There is nobody in the world I would fight more than that beautiful, gorgeous man. I actually want to change my answer for who I want to face in Rev Pro.
Yep.
We need a bit of Cassius. Neon Cassius.
We do.
Rev Pro. There, I said it.
We do, yeah.
I said it. Oh my goodness. We do need Neon Cassius for Rev Pro.
I think we do. It's the era of bringing in these new young talents and seeing what they can do. I think it's time.
Bitch.
Could you imagine?
I've got plans.
If Cassius's music hit in the 229, I genuinely think I would lose my shit.
If Best of Both Worlds blasts through the 229.
Oh my god. Could you imagine?
That is interesting.
It would be so iconic. He would break all copyright rules. Andy does not know what Montana is. He doesn't have to know.
He doesn't know it's fine.
Listen, once you get off this call, I've got stuff to do. I have call. Oh my goodness, I never even thought of this. But in all seriousness, with Riot Cabaret, brilliant promotion. I recommend anyone to go. Always run between like the All In weekend or the Forbidden Door weekend or WrestleMania weekend. If you're in the country, they are an incredible promotion, and they do something incredibly different in Brit Rest that no one else has seen.
They do, yes.
And they are wonderful. And I would do it. I'll always be in Riot Cabaret until they don't want me anymore.
Yeah, Riot Cabaret is wonderful, and they are running All In. It's not. I keep calling it All In weekend. It's not All In for us this year. It is Forbidden Door. Yeah, they are running. They do have a show on the Friday, so hopefully they will have a good. They had a good turnout last year. It was like one of their biggest shows they had done. It feels like it gets bigger every show now. It's
a sellout show every time.
Yeah.
They are brilliant at what they do, and they create something so different. We'll see if Mr. Blobby comes back. Thunder Rosa, the women's champion. Let's not forget that.
She is. Yeah, she is. Yeah, AEW wrestler Thunder Rosa. She's been champion since October now, so she's had the belt for a minute, and she's had matches against Danny and Nina Samuels, and she's wrestling Alex Windsor this month.
Alex Windsor.
Windsor. Yes.
Can't wait. Looking forward to that.
It'll be very fun. Fingers crossed I can go to that one. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll see.
Hopefully.
But is there anything else you wanted to touch on before you got out of it? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about, or are you happy to leave it at that and let the people know where they can find you?
Sure. I just want to say, Michael Oku, if you're watching, I hope you're happy with yourself. You ruined my podcast, my life, and I do very much. And also to say, if Zoe Lucas is watching, in the other room, I hope you're happy with yourself. You ruined my podcast and you ruined my time. I love them very much, and what was that?
that is my dog, and he wants to go in the garden.
That's a dog.
Yes.
Want to go in the garden?
Oh.
He loves to be the star of the show. He's got the worst timing ever.
That's so cute.
No, I have nothing to add. I hope you guys are well, and happy International Women's Week. You're one out of 3 podcasts I'll probably do a year before I get in trouble.
Nice.
And I'm very grateful, and I hope you girls keep going, and any girls that are interested in getting into Brit Rest or interested in getting into wrestling at all, I please encourage you guys to reach out, find a community.
Yes.
There's plenty of us out there, and yes, I know it's very cute. And yes, I'm very grateful for what you guys have done. So thank you very much for having me on. And I won't see you for a little while because I'm going somewhere very fun. But I will see you all very soon. And there was a reason I had to do it this week, let me just say. So watch your space.
Very excited to see what you do in the future. If anyone wasn't aware of who Amira is, you can find her socials linked below, and they will be on the Girls on Grabs Twitter page as well. We're still going to be live for a little bit, so I can either remove you from the studio, or you can just close out the page and that will remove you as well, whichever's easiest for you.
It was such a pleasure having you, getting to know you as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining our first official guest.
Yes, it's so wonderful.
Honestly. Amazing.
And I hope you enjoy everything that you have planned. Very excited to see what it all is.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you guys
excited.
for having me. I hope you guys are all amazing. Good luck, and I'll see you all very soon.
Yes, see you soon, Amira. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was so nice.
Right, that was so wonderful. Anna, I'm so sorry to do this. Can you entertain the people for literally 2 minutes? I will be back. Oscar is losing his shit in the background.
Okay. I'll lock in. Okay, guys, I need help from the chat because I'm not good at just here talking by myself. First, I want to say Cinema Purist, Brazil just won our first Oscar with I'm Still Here, and I was so happy. I was up until 4 or 5 a.m. watching the Oscars. I was bawling my eyes out. It was amazing. So yeah. What else in the Oscars? Honora winning everything. I was very surprised. I liked Honora, but Best Picture? That was a bit crazy to me, personally. And so Mikey Madison also getting Best Actress. I did not see that coming. I mean, amazing acting. That was definitely the highlight of the whole movie for me, but I did not expect her to win just this early in her career, I guess. But I mean, it was well deserved, but I was surprised. I was still rooting for Fernanda Torres, of course. But everything else, just Adrian Brody. I was rooting for Coleman. What else? Kieran Culkin, very happy for him. Everyone who says he was just playing himself or playing Roman Roy, you're my number one enemy. That's just not true. But yeah, overall, how was that, guys? Let us know. Yeah, Adam, he did deserve his Oscar. It was so well deserved. So well deserved. I really do not understand the people who are saying he was just playing the exact same character he was playing Succession. That is not true. You do not watch Succession. Oh, sorry. I'm talking about the Oscars. I'm venting.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I was like, Kieran Culkin deserved his Oscar 100%. It's not even a question for me. And Timothy, I watched A Complete Unknown, right? I do not understand it being nominated for Best Picture, but in a year with Emilia Perez, what can we say even? But yeah. So did you watch
I did not watch the Oscars.
Honora won everything.
I mean, real. It was a sick movie. I will say we did have a super chat that I was meant to bring up when we still had Amira on. Darren, I'm so sorry. We'll answer. I think she answered this pretty well, anyways. But in terms of people from overseas, I think her being excited about Mercedes coming over says a lot, to be honest. And she has incredible taste in wrestling. So, but yeah, I think Repro are doing really well at bringing people over as well. For guests, we had Serena Deeb they had Serena Deeb in December, and then Deonna Purrazzo is going to be in Wolverhampton in literally like a week and a half. So they're bringing they're bringing stars over from the States as well. So sorry that we didn't get to this whilst Amira was still here, Darren. I guess we'll just have to have her back in the future. Oh no!
And if you guys have more questions, send super chats, please.
Yes,
that helps the show.
Please.
That helps us, you know. Yeah. I mean, we're doing it for fun because we love it as well, but it does help.
Oh, absolutely.
Girlies a lot, you know. So if you have questions or anything. And yeah, just like Kyle mentioned, Zoe Zaldania's comments about Mexicans. The whole Emilia Perez team. First of all, it's like French people doing a movie about Mexico, and like they have to Google Translate stuff, ChatGPT stuff, because they don't know fucking Spanish. And then it's just so surreal for me seeing them going on stage to thank for awards that they win in a movie about like Mexico, and they're speaking French. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just so absurd, and they do not even like mention the trans community once. It's just so exploitive, and it's just it feels like very white liberal to me, just kind of trying to put themselves like, look how nice we are, we're giving space for these people, but then not hire like an actual Latina actor in the whole movie. Like, okay, Zoe Saldana, she says, oh, I'm the first Dominican American, like American descendants from Dominicans to win an Oscar. Like, you're just inventing a minority now. Like, I'm so sorry. That's insane to me. Like, your grandma was born in the Dominican Republic. She went to the US 60 years ago. Like, this can be controversial as someone born and raised in Latin America. You are not Latina, girl. What are you talking about? Like, let's be so fucking
Hale's comment genuinely almost spat my drink out. That's incredible.
We just called them gringos in Brazil. Like, come on. This is not like your grandparent who was from the Dominican Republic. Congratulations, I guess. Like, be so fucking for real. That's like me saying, oh, my granddad is from Portugal, so I'm basically European. Like, I'm not. I'm Latina. Like, girl, I just, that pisses me off. This pisses everyone in Latin America. If you have a problem with that, like, that's on you, babes. But that I just had to.
I will let you speak on that. I am very white English, and it is not my place to speak on that. But talk your shit.
I you revoke your pen privileges. We have a super chat that we can.
We do. This is a good good little transition, as it is in the title of the video. We should probably talk about this a little bit. Dragon Master Adam £2 super chat, thank you. Thoughts on Revolution card being insane? I'm annoyed about it because I have a 9 to 5 now, so I can't watch it live.
Yeah,
but the card fucking rules.
It's so good. Mercedes and Momo on the Revolution card. Excuse me. Like, I was so expecting them to do the rematch on a Dynamite. Like, I did not expect for it to be on Revolution. Like, that's Tony Khan, I'm so sorry. Like, he locked in, you know. He saw the results of the Wrestle Purists Awards, and he locked in. He took that seriously. Putting Momo on a AEW pay-per-view, that's like the biggest cheat code to make me vote for him for Booker of the Year. Like, oh my god.
Honestly,
so
though,
excited.
this Revolution card, they literally announced a card versus Brody King like 15 minutes before we went live as well. That's just like every year we say this might be the best Revolution card they've ever put out. And somehow they've topped last year. And I thought last year was going to be untoppable.
Yeah.
Pause. Because of like it literally just because the Young Bucks Sting Derby match.
Yeah.
Like I just
insane.
Revolution is like year by year the best AEW pay-per-view, and it should probably win pay-per-view of the year every year, to be honest.
Yes. Generally, like it's crazy. That card, every match that was coming out that they were announcing, I'm like, damn, okay, Steel Cage, Osprey, and Fletcher, like, damn, oh my god, Omega and Takeshita too, like, oh my god, and then now Momo and Mercedes is like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? But then Moxley and Cope. Look, that world title pick, does Garcia have a match? Like, I would love to see him with a singles match. Like, he is the champion. It doesn't feel like it, but he is a champion.
If there is going to be anything, it hasn't been announced. I don't think it will be at this point. There's like 7 or 8 matches announced, so I don't think he's going to make it on the card, which I do think is a real shame. But I also don't think Danny's Daniel Garcia has had a title reign that is incredibly frustrating because they set a precedent with the TNT title that it is a TV belt. So I don't necessarily mind it not being on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If he had been defending it on TV and had been wrestling well in these matches. However, ever since he's won that belt, he has done the Continental Classic. He has been in a Casino Gauntlet. He has gone for the Trios belts. He has done everything except like defending his title. And I don't think there's any issue wrestling up and trying to add to your gold collection if you prove that you can defend the belts that you already have. That is my issue here. And even leaving that aside, his matches are very uninspiring right now.
They're not like things that are blowing your mind, you know? Like, you know, Bryan Danielson, he's the GOAT. He's so good. I feel like he made a lot of people look insane. And I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm like the same thing with Ricky, for example, you know? Sometimes people are just too good. And then they make other people look way, way, way ahead than maybe what they currently are, but it shows their potential. Like we know they can get to that place, but not everyone you're gonna wrestle is gonna be a Bryan Danielson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to be with Utah. For me, it was kind of like the same thing. It's like I'm trying to be really nice because I do think he's a very good wrestler, but I do feel like we need something is missing. Something is missing, and like, I'm not saying
where is the substance? Where's this like with Danny? It's like where is Red Death gone? Where is like the guy that fucking tapped out Bryan Danielson? Like it feels. I don't want to talk on a wrestler's personal opinion on how do I phrase this? I don't want to talk about their perception on wrestling after contract, getting new contracts or losing contracts, whatever. But it does feel, as a fan and as someone that watches the product weekly, that ever since he re-signed with AEW, he's become complacent.
Yeah. And also the title, it just feels like it felt so much like a here you go down like title, you know? Like
and that's I don't know. Historically the TNT title hasn't been that. It has been a title that has been the workhorse title. And I tweeted about this and someone said just like, oh well, not every TV title reign has to be the same. No, it doesn't. But when it's a talent like Daniel Garcia that can wrestle weekly TV matches and has the capacity to do that and have cool matches with people, and he's having a worse, and I'm going to say he's having a worse title reign than Adam Copeland did have with belt. Yeah, then there's a very big disconnect.
I was going to say, like, people know, maybe you don't, but like I have a personal vendetta against that era of the TNT title that it was between like Sammy Guevara and like Scorpio Sky, and they kept like throwing around like hot potato. But at least I hated that, like hated it. But at least then the title felt important. Like we saw it every week. There were segments around it. There was things around it. So even if it was like being passed around like a blunt, it still felt important somehow, you know. And now it's just like I barely remember. The trios titles as well. There's so many titles that I think I have to really like stop and like force myself to remember like who even is the champion. Who are like I don't know. But it's just it makes me sad.
Yeah, because the Death Riders have those belts currently.
Oh God, please, we need that. We need that to be done. Like, please. But I'm so excited for Evolution. Like, it's such a good card. Like Hangman and MJF. I really hope MJF like is feeling it because when he's feeling it. Ooh, like he delivers.
I will say there is credit where credit is due, and I will always. Everyone knows how my frustrations with Max in the past. This is the best work he has done since Revolution 2023, in my opinion. Since the build with, and not even like the latter half of the build with the match with Bryan, because the first half wasn't great. But like the last few weeks before Revolution 2023, Max locked back in and he did incredible work with Bryan to build that match. And this entire feud with Hangman has been unreal. And there's not been anything that I've been like, well, why the fuck are you doing that? Like the tattoo removal, it was a bit gimmicky. But I can look past that because the promo was decent. And the segment was decent for what he was saying. So it was a small, it was just The tattoo removal was very funny to me, though. Still not convinced that tattoo was ever real, to be honest.
I mean,
no, but yeah, no. And there's like, we haven't even mentioned like Swerve Ricochet, Tony Mariah. Like, this card is peak. There is that, like, is there? I know some people aren't as excited for Tony Mariah, but they've added a stipulation to that now. Like, I think this is going to be a very, 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 very good pay-per-view. And if anyone sends me spoilers, I will just block you out, right? Because I cannot watch it live.
Yeah,
I want to go into I might just delete Twitter off my phone, like you. Like,
I really hope it's better than the two previous matches. Like, I've talked about it on Worldwide already. Like, I don't think any of the matches so far lived up to the storyline. So I hope that they can do this time. Maybe the stipulation helps. Maybe they have more time. I don't know. It's gonna be a long pay-per-view, that we can be sure of. That's gonna be like a solid 6 hours at the very least. Like, it's gonna be a long one, but it's gonna be good. You know.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited for Evolution. And talking about good things, Io
Sky did the damn thing.
I told you all.
Oh, actually, real quick, pause. Just before we get into this, someone asked earlier if there is collision this week. I did double check. There is a collision. It's being taped tonight. You can now continue. Sorry, I just wanted to answer that whilst I remembered.
Yes. Guys, I told everyone, do not flinch, okay? Do not flinch. Do not give up. We're gonna get there. Somehow, Io is gonna be in the WrestleMania card, and she's gonna be in the title match. Like, I've been saying it. We lost the Royal Rumble. That was, that was harsh. That was harsh. I cannot lie. Like, a lot of people's faith wavered after that. She didn't get into the classified for elimination chamber. That was a bit hard. You know, I have to admit that part. Even my faith wavered a little bit, but I still was like, no, we're gonna find a way. They announced the Rhea match, but then instead of the pay-per-view, was going to be on the Raw after. And, it was just looking like, at a point, it looked like it was not going to happen, but I was still believing. Like, I believe in Io. She's probably one of the best women's wrestlers of all time, like, period. You know, Triple H. I'll never doubt your love for Io again. That was so unexpected for me. Like, I woke up to so many people tagging me, and just thank you so much to everyone who did that, because that was the first thing I saw in the morning. And I tell you that I just shot up out of bed. I opened my phone, I see the picture of you with the title. I shot up like I just had done like 5 lines of coke. I was so filled with adrenaline. I am so happy. I think they're gonna do the triple threat. I don't think she retains. You know, I think Bianca's gonna keep her streak going, but just the fact that she's gonna walk into WrestleMania as the world champion for the 2nd year in a row, it's like, yo, gang.
As she should.
Never
honestly
flinch.
Never, ever flinched. Listen, I'm just happy that Io Sky is once again champion, because she's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now.
Like, honestly, I genuinely believe that if we talk best women's wrestlers of all time, she's deserving of being in that like top 10 or like whatever top 20 if you want to be like more lenient. But she is in that conversation. You know, like the work that she did in Japan. Like, if you get her matches. Personally, for me, her matches against Meiko Satomura in Stardom were just some of like the best women's matches I've ever seen. Like, the work that she did there, and the fact that she could translate and still be excellent, both in NXT and now on the main roster, and still like deliver matches. You know, keeping her excellent, it's just insane to me. You know, and it is something that before it looked like very hard. You know, a lot of female talent, a lot of like Japanese female talent couldn't translate that well into like American TV. Like Asuka, I think she's great, but I think the way that Io adapted her style to fit the WWE style and still keep the same level of quality is just absurd. You know,
it is.
So I generally think, yeah, Io versus Utami, it was like one of the best matches of 2024 period.
Yes.
She's still got it. She's the GOAT. Like, I love her so much. I am so happy. I am so happy. Like, for me, that's a main event match. If you do a triple threat, Rhea, Bianca, and Io, that's a main event. Who gives a fuck about CM Punk, about Seth Rollins, about Roman Reigns? You guys, let's open the pay-per-view. We have some real business to attend here.
Absolutely. Honestly, I woke up. The first thing that I saw about it was your quote tweet, because of like I had opened Twitter literally 30 seconds after you had seen that it had happened. I was like, oh shit, he is champion. Like, I'm just happy they made the right decision here, and that they belted up Io and they did something that surprised people, because like, that's not something that enough bookers do these days.
That was a bold choice. I mean, it's not bold because Io is your best women's wrestler, so it's like, it's just a safe guarantee that if you put her in any match, the match is gonna be like better because of her. Like, of course, Bianca and Rhea would be a good match by itself, but with Io there, it just takes it to a whole other level, you know?
Yeah.
So, and the Io being the champion, that's just, I generally did not expect that. I really believe I never gave up on the fact that she would be in the title match at WrestleMania. Like, I knew it in my heart, but walking in as the champion, Triple H, I'm sorry, I doubted you. Like,
yeah,
you're allowed to keep your nose. Like, I don't know. Like, you have rights again. Like, I was so surprised.
Yeah. Whilst we're on the topic of WWE, I watched some of the Chamber. I watched the Women's Chamber, and I actually thought that match was pretty fucking good, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. I watched the Women's Tag. Yep. Trish Stratus's Aging in Reverse. And I watched like 5 minutes, if that, of Sammy versus KO before I fell asleep. I will not be going back and finishing that match, to be honest.
Why?
I heard mixed things. I probably will at some point, but life is busy right now. It's not a priority. But so what I saw, I really enjoyed. And then I woke up and I opened a group chat, and all I saw was a message that said, something, John Cena turned heel. And I just put back in that group chat, Cena did what? And listen, for a little bit of background context, for anyone that knows me, they know that John Cena is my number one op. That I cannot stand that man as a wrestler. Like, literally, and this isn't like me trying to be pedantic or me like doing a bit. Everyone always thinks it's a bit. I have hated John Cena since I was a child. He wronged Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is my favorite wrestler of all time. That is my GOAT. And he did my boy dirty on that fucking episode of Raw. And I held that grudge. Until now, I still don't like Cena as a wrestler. I still don't like him as a wrestler. That being said, that term was pretty fucking cool. Listen, I'm not going to say nothing about his performance in the Chamber. Have no idea. Haven't seen the match. I watched the angle literally earlier. I hadn't seen the angle until like 2 hours before the podcast, but I watched it because I knew that we were going to. Monty wanted me to talk about it. It was a little bit goofy, but it was so quintessentially WWE, and The Rock and Cena played their roles perfectly. I don't like any of the men in that segment, but it hit. It hit not even as Travis a turn of that level. Oh, I have no personal beef with Travis Scott. I have
like Monty.
Yeah, did I see
Monty on Worldwide, just like personal beef with Travis Scott. He was like, he's not even that big. What he was even doing there? And everyone was like, Monty, he is big. He was just like going off, like, who he was like, who do they think Travis Scott is? Do they think Travis Scott is like Kendrick? Like, who do they think Travis Scott is? And I'm like, is he Travis Scott? What the fuck,
bro? Yeah, no, but I did see the reports of Travis Scott like allegedly injuring Cody Rhodes, and I will say I sat in work and I laughed for like 10 minutes straight about it because what?
That was so funny. Like, there's a part of me that wishes that is that true? Like, do we know if that's like? I really wish that is true because that would be so funny.
It would be one of the most unreal, hilarious things that has ever happened ever. But I hope Cody's okay if it is real, to be honest, because like as much as he's not my favorite wrestler, he's not someone I enjoy. He is a massive part of WWE and the build and all that sort of shit. But yeah, I was always right about John Cena. That man has always sucked, and now everyone gets to experience my hate for that man. And what is, I can finally, I waited. Always play the long game with your grudges. You will be able to do your victory laps eventually. That's enough to talk about John Cena, unless you have anything to add about it. Because
no, I talked about it at length at Worldwide while I was fully dying with my camera off. So if you want to see the Brian Cole picture talking about John Cena's turn, you can go back and watch Worldwide. Leave it a like. Leave it a like.
Oh
this
shit!
One as well.
We should have showed that picture to Amira. She would have lost it.
You can send it to her. That is my favorite picture of all time. Like
that's so funny.
Beautiful, so beautiful.
Oh
like I feel like that's a part of my soul now. Like I can never change that picture. You know, that's me. That's me.
Yeah, it's just you. Like it looks just like you. As Charlie always says, never give up on hating Cena. People always think it's a bit that I do for wrestle purists. If you search John Cena on my Twitter, there is a tweet from 2021 that says John Cena's low-key boring in ring. And that was when I had like no followers. Like I didn't know no one. No one knew who I was. I just don't like Cena. I never did.
Yeah.
Did you talk about Tam and Saya? Continue what you were saying. We'll circle back.
Yes. No, I was gonna say like some people think we have bits here, but when we don't like someone, we generally don't like someone.
I just genuinely don't like them. Like
and that's nothing to say about like them as a person. We're just talking about them as wrestlers. Like I do.
We're talking about purely as in-ring characters. Yes.
Exactly. And some people are like, oh, you're taking it too far. Like when I talk about the doctor, the dentist, people are like, oh, you're taking it so far. Like guys, I don't say anything about her like as a human being. When there's news about her like backstage, then I comment on it because of course it's there, but I don't know that woman. I'm just saying that as a wrestler, she shouldn't be one. Like that's it. That's all I'm saying, Well, like with Tam versus Saya, I still want to watch the match because the thing with Tam and Saya is like they just don't miss together. I feel like after the Tam Julia, it was like one of the big rivalries for Tam's career, but I always thought that her and Saya had the matches that I particularly like enjoy the most. In ring, like for me, the match that Saya wins the white belt from Tam is still like one of my absolute favorites that I've seen in Stardom. Like they just have the chemistry, and I now feel like Saya's really finding her footing as a heel. She fully went back to like which was the other match that she had that was really, really good. That one I watched, but I don't remember against who it was. But yeah, she was really finding her footing now. She's really like going back to her form pre-injury, which was something that I was a bit worried about when she came back, and also with the character like from Hate and everything, like it was a bit shady for like I was very honest about how she was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and then since this turn and Hate and everything, it just hasn't been clicking with me. But now it has. Now I can fully say, guys, thank God I was wrong. My girl still got it. My wrestler of the year. My GOAT. I'm sorry that I flinched. But like we are very much back.
It happens.
It happens. It happens. But we are very much back. And
I need to watch the match still.
Yeah, with Tom, I'm very the Suzuki match. I think it was very good. But yeah, so I want to watch the match with Tom, but the whole thing with like the loser leaves Stardom, and now that they have the rematch set for April at the All-Star Grand Kingdom, like their second biggest show in the year after Dream Kingdom at the end of the year, they have the match a rematch, and it's like the loser retires. So basically everything is walking towards Tam retiring, which for me feels very like I don't know if it was something that it was being indicated for a while now. Like for me, generally, it feels like very out of like, I know I was out of left field. Like I know like she was getting a bit older, but it's not like she was getting bad in ring. It wasn't like one of those situations. And as far as I've heard, there has been no news or no things about like her physical health. So it's surprising to me. I think she's still in a very good shape, but I want to see if they're gonna like pull through that. Maybe they do like some like one of those fucky things to be like, oh, actually, no one loses the match, But I don't think Saya's retiring. Like she's the world champion right now. I hope not. But
yeah, it'd be very out of left field. I feel like if Saya retires, especially still having the belt.
Yeah,
exactly. JJ clarified in chat. Tam was removed from the website, so the detail is that she's a freelancer. She isn't with Stardom, but Saya offered her retirement for good.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, Joshi's they retire quite early, because if you see any Joshi match, you understand why they retire quite early. They also start quite early, so it makes sense, that their career span, it just seems like earlier retirements. But the bumps and stuff that they take, like, it makes a lot of sense. It's not the safest form of wrestling, and that's why I love it. Which is, but that does seem very interesting to me. Like, she's not the person you would imagine, like, because I cannot see her just being like, actually, I just want to leave Stardom and be a freelancer. Like, she's like Stardom as a person. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Mayu is like, the ace of Stardom. When Rusty was there, she was very much like the company, but I feel like since the whole change, Tam is just the person that for me is really like Stardom in the form of a wrestler is Tam. So I am very curious to see how that goes. I feel like it's just a personal choice. I don't think there's anything that like she has to retire. I feel like it's just a choice that she wants to make for her life. But I would like, I will see how it goes with the construction until the All-Star Queendom, All-Star Grand Queendom, and I hope that Mercedes has a match in the show as well. But I'm curious to see how they're gonna construct that, because Sam is one of the most important wrestlers in Stardom's history, so it has to be like a big thing, and I know it's gonna be like very emotional and everything. So I'm curious for that, and I know it's gonna be a great match. It's Saya and Tom, they don't miss. So yes, I still gotta watch it, but I am excited. Stardom feels like it's also going back on track. Everything is right now. Queen's Quest, we never lose. We never lose.
Pretty good right now.
Exactly, which is surprising.
Like, the only like big things that need to like kind of fall in place right now for wrestling to like be at its peak, or like be at a peak in the 2020s, is the G1 needs to be stellar, and we need a new AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
Those are like the big things. Except Nora and TNA.
Well, who cares about that? We're talking about real companies here. Come on.
No disrespect to any talents that work for Nora or TNA. We're disparaging your workplaces, not you.
Real wrestling, okay? No, but like I generally think like it is in a good place now. I was looking at a cage match for Elimination Chamber. The show has like a 9 on cage match.
Wow.
And like we're talking about, Revolution has a great card. Stardom is like finding its footing again. Like it's being very good again. Like everything is just kind of working. And then JU. So like we don't talk about that. But apparently CMLL is also doing amazing. Like
CMLL feels like is always on track, and I wish I had more time to watch it.
I need like someone to we're going the whole thing with indie wrestling, like we talked about it, but like for the big companies, I feel like things are going back on track, except like you said, minor tweaks here and there. Jey Uso probably winning against Gunther. That's just you win some, you lose some. I am fine with Gunther losing as long as Io like is champion. Like you have to sacrifice some things in life.
There's always a sacrifice to be made,
Sacrifice I'm willing to make, okay? But we're in a good path. I feel like at this moment last year, I was less positive about wrestling than I am right now. So
to be fair, I was I was fairly positive about it because of literally a year ago today, I landed back from North Carolina and I'd just been in there for Revolution. So one of the worst travel days of my life. Oh my God. I don't know if I've ever told that story on a podcast, but fucking that airline, and I can't remember, it was American Airlines, who I'm actually flying with again to go to Vegas, beside the points, but American Airlines, count your fucking days because the trauma I experienced, Alexa's in chat, she can speak on it. I was so stressed. Like, I landed, okay, right, I'm sorry, I have to talk about that. A year later, I'm still traumatized. I landed in North Carolina with my brother on the Friday, and because of our flight was delayed out of London Heathrow, we missed our connection in Charlotte Airport to get to Greensboro, and we were just kind of like, and then we spoke to the people at the airport, and they were just like, yeah, it's like you have to wait till tomorrow, and I was like, well, I'm not sitting in Charlotte overnight when it's an hour drive, so we Ubered to we Ubered to Greensboro, and it wasn't that expensive between me and my brother. It was fine. I get a notification from American Airlines the next day. Your flight home has been cancelled.
I would have lost it.
And we spoke to the workers, and they were just like at the airport, we spoke to them. We were just like, okay, well, we're going to just find alternative travel to get to Greensboro. We need to be there tonight. And they were just like, yeah, that's no problem. Everything will be fine, whatever. They cancelled our flights home. So we then had to pay, like, we booked the cheapest flights possible to get home because of, there was no way we could afford like direct flights back to the UK. So we did 3 stops to get back to the UK. So we flew out on the Monday. We flew out early on the Monday. So we Ubered back to Charlotte. So we paid like another $100 for another Uber. We Ubered back to Charlotte. We flew from Charlotte to Newark, which is one of the worst airports I've ever been in. From Newark to Copenhagen, and then Copenhagen to London.
Girl.
But it does not end there, because our flight from Newark into Copenhagen landed 10 minutes before our flight from Copenhagen to London was taking off. So we had to sprint to our next gate. Our bags did not make it onto the flight. Our bags got stuck in Copenhagen, and I was meant to be getting off that flight and going directly to Manchester because of the Madcap Memorial show that was happening in Manchester the day I landed back in the UK. So I had to cancel my coach and book a later coach to Manchester, go home, get different clothes, like shower, get changed, go back to London, and then get the coach to Manchester.
What the fuck?
When I talk about that trip and how awful the travel was, that is why. American Airlines, count your fucking days, and the fucking workers that told me that I would be fine and the flights would be fine if we left the airport. You are fake, and you ruined my life. The way I was sleeping when this all happened. Alexia just woke up to be absent. Like, I FaceTime my parents. I was streaming crying because we had to book.
That is a nightmare. That's literally like,
I'm traumatized. It's so funny now.
You should have sued them.
Funny
like, very honest. You could have sued them.
Honestly, like, we did get money back. We did get compensation for that. Because
whatever it was,
I spoke to like an American Airlines representative, and they were just like, there is no way they should have told you that your flight, like your flights would be fine. Like, that it's always flights always get cancelled when you miss the connection, regardless of the reason. So like, because they rearranged the connection, if we had stayed in Charlotte and flown out the next day on the Saturday to Greensboro, then it would have been fine. But because they told us we could leave and make our own way there, the flight was cancelled. American Airlines, if you fuck me over going to Vegas, I might have a mental breakdown. Touch wood, not putting that energy into the universe. But Alexia, I miss you too, and I'm excited to see you again this year at some point. I miss you so bad. But yeah, so don't miss your connections, I guess, is the moral of that story.
Yeah, that's like, oh. No, the whole thing with the bag for me, every time that I go travel, I am in such a constant state of anxiety. Until I have my bags in my hands, I will not relax. I will not relax. Like, I will be, like, when I went to Brazil now, like, I am in a 12-hour flight, and for the 12 hours, I am not relaxed. I, like, my body is just, like, fully anxious because I'm just waiting. Like, oh my God, I hope my bags are there. I hope my bags are there. I hope my bags are there. So, like, I cannot sleep. I cannot just, like, sit down and enjoy the flight. No. My brain is gonna be like constantly moving, thinking about the bags nonstop.
Yeah,
that's a nightmare. Well,
yeah. Oh no, I hate checking bags so fucking bad. It gives me so much anxiety. Like, I just want them with me. I would rather have the cabin bags, but I've got to check my bags for Vegas as well, and I'm scared because of there's a connection for that journey, because direct flights were like $1,500, and I did not have $1,500 to pay for direct flights. So yeah. Also, this R.I.P. Madka. We miss you dearly. Hope you're doing well up there. It's very sad. But we do have a super chat. Sorry, I've just ranted for like the last 15 minutes. Do you have anything to add to anything I just said?
No. I just want to say, as we're like in the conversation, the topic of talking shit about airlines, Iberia, it's on site. My fucking enemy. It's the Spanish airline that I took to go back to Brazil. They delayed the flight. The flight was delayed 6 hours. 6 hours. And according to the law, okay, it's not me speaking, it's the law, that if a flight is delayed for more than 2 hours, the airline has to give you like a voucher for food and drinks, like while you're waiting in the airport, because you need to eat. And then do you think they gave us a voucher? No, they had one person working at like the desk, like the help desk, and they were doing it so slow. I was in line for 2 hours. I moved like one step because they were doing it on purpose so no one could get their vouchers. So the airplane, like, it delayed 6 hours, right? And we were all like dying of hunger, basically. So we get in the airplane that is already so fucking late. And every time you look at the screen, it says, oh, it was supposed to leave at 9 a.m. And then it said, oh, it's going to leave at 11. No, it's going to leave at 2. No, it's actually going to leave at 12. It's going to leave at 4. And then like it just kept like going back and forth the whole time.
Jesus.
Yeah. So like we never knew which time it was going to leave. And then, we get to the airplane. And I think, okay, we're hungry. We're here. Like, they're going to serve food, right? Do you think they serve food at 12-hour flights? How many meals do you think we got? 1. Nothing else. There was this woman that she had a gluten allergy. The only food that they had in the fucking airplane was pasta. They gave her an apple.
God.
An apple. All she had for 12 hours was an apple. Like, I was flabbergasted. That was such a bad flight. That was such a horrible.
Horrifying.
Iberia, it's like number one enemy. But yeah, nothing else to add. I think we can go to our movies and song recommendations.
Let's just get this super chat up. We'll do this, and then we will move on to those, and then wrap this up, I think, because we've gone our 90 minutes, and we're both working girlies. We have things that we need to do tomorrow, so let's get to this. Dame 499 super chat. Thank you very much. I don't care. Io should retain at Mania. A Japanese wrestler hasn't won at Mania in like 26 years. Let's make more history for Io. Yes, co-signed. Absolutely.
Yes. Do I think she will? No, she should. Absolutely. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a wild stat as well, though. To be fair, like, that is kind of crazy. Damn, WWE.
But which
makes you think?
Yeah, maybe Nakamura could have won something. I was gonna ask, like, okay, which other ones could win? But like, you have Asuka and Nakamura. And,
Asuka and Nakamura.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think that Io should retain Mania. I would like to see him.
Wow.
Yeah. But movies and song recommendations. I haven't watched any new movies recently because I've been busy. So let me pull up Letterboxd to see if I've got something in my archives. Authentication failed. So I'm not pulling up Letterboxd because I'm not logged in.
I will be okay. Let's start with the music then, because the film I have things to say. So do you have a song like unlock in your mind?
Do I have a song? This isn't even my correct letterbox account. Oh my god, so much is happening. A song. I do have a song. I had it queued earlier. Let me find it. So I am all over the place today. So for my song this week, we are looking at Lipstick Covered Magnet by the Front Bottoms, because the Front Bottoms are one of my favorite bands ever. They are very Midwestern emo. They're not for everyone, but they're definitely for me. And I think that everyone should listen to that song at least once. And it's one of the best songs they've put out, in my opinion.
Nice. I'll put it on the playlist. I just watched A Complete Unknown this weekend. That's not gonna be my movie recommendation because, like I said, it's fine. But now I am obsessed with Joan Baez. So my recommendation is It Ain't Me, Babe, but the Joan Baez version, not the Bob Dylan version, because fuck him. But yeah, so It Ain't Me, Babe by Joan Baez. Just her voice, what an angel, what a great song. Yeah, so that's my song recommendation. And for movie, do you have yours?
I don't. Bear with me. I don't know what's happening here. Sign out.
Okay, I'll start with mine because I have things to say. I have thoughts.
Yeah.
So
go for it.
I'll be pretentious again. Like last week we didn't do the podcast, but the week before I recommended Nights of Cabiria, like a movie from the 50s, black and white. I will recommend today a movie from the 60s, from 1960, also black and white. I'm so sorry, guys. Like I don't think it's on Prime anymore, but it was on Prime. The Apartment by Billy Wilder is just, it's one of the best films I've seen, like I cannot even remember when, like maybe in my life. It's generally like one of those films I watched it once and it immediately went on my list of my favorite films. It's just so beautiful and it's funny and it's just so touching, you know. Like I love Billy Wilder films. I watched some Like It Hot for the first time also last month and it was just so amazing. And Jack Lemmon, I am obsessed with him. It's what an actor he was. Is just amazing. Like what he did, the difference of his work from some Like It Hot, which is like 100% comedic, to what he did in The Apartment, that it was just like so beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time and funny at the same time. It's just like what a guy, you know. Like so it was definitely one of the best films I've seen. And I cannot wait to watch it again and again and again. I know I'll be watching it at least like once a year, every Christmas. Yeah, so I do recommend that. It's just amazing, guys. Like it is really worth going like out of your way to watch that one. Like The Apartment is just struck me very much. But yeah, I loved it. So yes, this is my film recommendation for today.
We love that. I can't log back into my letterbox, so I'm gonna have to figure out what my email is for that account. But top of my head, a film I would recommend. Honestly, I love horror films. Everyone knows this. I can't remember. I don't think I've recommended this yet. And it's going to be a film that most people have already seen anyways. But if for some reason you've skipped over The Silence of the Lambs and you haven't watched it, it is my favorite horror film, maybe of all time. At least like psychological thriller. It is probably my favorite film ever. And I know that it has like some minor issues with the way that I know a lot of people don't like the line about transgender women and the killer cross-dressing it to kill people and stuff like that. But the director did discuss how it was never his intention to enforce that stereotype, and I do think it is something that worth discussion. But everything else about that movie is genuinely perfect, and I do not think that anything can be done to make it better. It is one of my favorite acting performances, and it is so good. And it's so worth talking about, and I don't think enough people talk about Silence of the Lambs, to be honest, even though it is considered like a cult classic.
It's a classic. Yeah, it's fully a classic. Love it. No, that's a good one. I already added it, guys. We have the letterbox list, you know. Yes. If you guys are not locked in that, go. But yeah, good recommendations. Good episode. And we will be having more guests, I guess, this month.
Will.
We hope so. Mm-hmm.
There are some very cool things in the pipeline. I have reached out to a couple of people, and there is one confirmed that they will be coming on, but we just need to figure out which date they will be on for. I'm not going to tell you who it is, just in case.
I just remembered who it is.
Anna knows who it is, obviously, because this is my co-host, but I think you guys will be very, very excited. I'm very, very excited about it, and it's very cool for us. And yeah, we're going to try and line up some other cool women for Women's History Month. Obviously, thank you, my God, Joel. But yes, the epitome of Women's History Month. We will be having Joel on the podcast. Honestly, but yeah, I just want to say thank you again to Amira for coming on and her being here with us, because that was a great chat, I think, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you missed my tweet, I will not be on Women's History. If you missed my tweet, I will not be on the Dynamite reviews going forward for now, because I did get a new job and I am in office 9 to 5, and being up till 2 a.m. every night is not optimal for my sleeping patterns. So I won't be doing the Dynamite reviews for a while, but
oh my God.
What? What?
Oh my fucking God. Not on Girls on Graps. This is so unserious.
Please support the
This is so unserious.
Please support the Dynamite review.
I'm gonna cancel Ibu again. This is so unserious.
I don't know what just happened, but I think on that note, we're gonna get out of here. I know. Anything to plug?
No, this just like
it's just completely fucking throw me off my game whilst I was you fucking suck. Thank you guys again.
Yeah.
That was so nasty. Thank you guys so much again for joining us, and all things go well, we will be back next week, and have a good one. Peace.